Julian here from the Nocturnal. I'm here to speak with Jahi LO Winston here about Charm City Kings. How are you doing right now?
I am doing great right now. How are you?
I'm still alive, still awake, and it's crazy in New York, but I'm still trying to not think about it right now. But we're here to talk about you today. How you been holding up since this pandemic?
I've been doing good. It's been a roller coaster ride. One day I'm like, okay, I can take on the world. The world is. I'm hopeful about where we're going, and then the next day it's like, oh my gosh, this is the worst place ever. But it's a roller coaster of emotions. I'm just trying to take it one day at a time.
I've watched the film last week, and I thought it was quite fitting that the film ended with the DMX theme song. But I also love the film. I also love the character Mouse. What can be some life lessons that you could tell everyone about the character that we've all seen him go through?
Well, I think for one, the core lesson and the core message of the film is just how one decision that you make can change the course of your life forever. And that's true in all cases, but it's especially true when you're talking about someone who's from a disenfranchised community and from a marginalized group. It's a layer of amplification that changes the trajectory of your life. One decision can do that. So hopefully people understand that and people are able to sort of see what we're trying to convey without feeling like they've had a message sort of shoved down their throat for what 2 hours and 5 minutes or whatever. But yeah, that's the core lesson of the film.
While I was watching it, I was thinking to myself the whole time: was there any point at all when you was on those motorcycles that you did not have an accident or did have an accident while you was riding? Was there?
I never rode, so I mean, I had an accident in school, paper cut. I might have picked up the stairs, might have burned my mouth drinking some hot chocolate because it was cold outside. I did not have a serious accident, and I'm glad about it because that would not have been good. So we did not ride at all, and I'm not too mad about that, actually. But I mean, I enjoyed watching all of the professional riders ride. I let the professionals do their thing, and I waited until they said action cut, rolling, those things. So no, I didn't ride at all, and I didn't have any accidents. So
Was there any motorcycle that you seen on this set that you wish you could take home?
oh, that I wish I could take home. You know what? I just to have them. I mean, I would never wear them, but Mouse wears really he wears one pair of shoes throughout the whole thing. I mean, he wears maybe like another pair when he starts getting money, but I wish I could have like the pair of raggedy Adidas that he has, whole thing just to have them as like a souvenir, and I would like put them in like a what's those things in museums like a case where they could just be there and I could sort of have them as a souvenir.
So none of the motorcycles at all, but just anything that he wore.
Yeah, yeah, I can't do this with motorcycles. I have no plans on riding a motorcycle.
So real quick, what was it like working with Meek Mill in this film?
It was really great. Meek is actually a really incredible actor. He's also an incredible artist, as many know. But it was great because it is his big breakout role, I think, and people are going to be really impressed by what he did in the film. Man, he's really incredible, and he's very versatile in what he's able to do. And it was great to see him sort of tap to his acting abilities as we went through the process of filming.
Real quick, I want to ask you too, where can everyone find you on social media?
All right, everyone can find me at Jahi Winston on Instagram, JahiWinston on Instagram, Jahi Jahi, and everyone can find me on Twitter at Jahi Diallo, Jahidillo.
Quite impressive. Thank you so much for your time today. I know we didn't have a lot of time to speak, but I'm happy to speak with you today.
Yeah, it was great talking to you, man. I love your posters.
Thank you. I guess you're a Walking Dead fan too, are you?
Yeah, I've been binging it in quarantine. I started rewatching the show, so Yeah, the earlier seasons.
I love it. I have Angel Manuel Soto here to talk about Charm City Kings. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. How are you? How's everything going?
Everything's going great. New York is still kind of a war zone, even though some places are still going to close up, but that's a story for another day. But I'm here to talk about you and the film. First question is, since this film takes place in Boston, how were you able to get the mindset of where to shoot those scenes? I said Boston, sorry, Baltimore. How are you get the mindset to be able to shoot those scenes in Baltimore?
Well, it wasn't that hard. Baltimore, it's contrary to what's been presented on the news and out there. Baltimore is a very charming place. Like I know it's redundant with the name Charm City, which is the name of the city, but the truth is, it's a very charming place. It is more welcoming than not, and I was able to see more similarities with my Puerto Rico than none. I think the architecture, the language, and maybe the weather, maybe the food is the main thing that's different from Puerto Rico. Everything else, the same struggles, the same uh, decisions, the same obstacles. I think uh, both communities experience the same similar things. So being able to just hone in on the experience of a young boy who wants to get a bike and is met at the crossroads between becoming a man or deciding a different path. Those are definitely the universal things that we in Puerto Rico grew up with. So being there, it all I had to do, I felt, was just be not only myself in terms of the way I approach things, but also listen to the community, listen to how they feel about certain things, and try your best to represent them properly.
My second question for you, since I've seen the film, it gives a very good message of if you go to this path, it could lead a good way, or if you go to this path, it could lead a bad way. How far into the writing process did you all decide that this is how the story is going to be told?
Um, I guess when I came in, I guess probably like a year before we started production, we already had a first draft from Barry Jenkins, which laid out the groundworks and pretty much the backbone of the story. But it was when Sherman Payne came in and really it started to add a lot of the personalities to the kids. And one of the issues we kind of like agreed upon that we were having trouble with resolving was on the third act, and mainly because usually stories like this always take a specific ending, especially when it's told from the point of view, especially when it's told about marginalized communities. The expectations is that everything's gonna end up the way we see in the news, right? Like it's usually it doesn't end well. And one of the things we wanted to do differently is we're so used to seeing ourselves represented in such a negative light. And that's not to say that we don't go through the same obstacles, but what if there is a positive outcome that could come out of this situation that could inspire kids who are watching, that could inspire people to do something better, whether it is by tackling toxic masculinity or tackling the issue about mentorship. Uh, I'm just overall breaking down the false expectations of what it is to be a man. I believe that tackling those issues from a responsible point of view will benefit us as a society. So that is the part that in the story, taking a coming of age trope that we already are familiar with and giving it a different point of view because it is us who are telling our own stories. Like this is the story that we would love to happen. We already know what happened. We have seen coming of age stories told from all different colors, but when it comes to people of color, you have never done something that ends up with this type of light. And why not?
Thank you so much for your time today. That's very thought out good answer. I appreciate my time speaking with you and for your jump on the interview.
Oh, well, I appreciate you, Julian. That was a really good question. And it's one of those things that I do believe like it should be talked about, right? Like,
Yes.
yeah, there's filming, there's also, but at the end of the day, we as artists, we want to do our best to bring light to a shadowy world right now. And the world right now is too much of a pain already. So what if we started seeing life differently? Maybe we don't see the benefits of it, but the future could. And why not?
Exactly. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day today.
Thank you, man. It was a pleasure. Okay.